All right, testing, testing, testing. Oh, sorry about that. Anyone that's already there. I had a meeting that ran right up until 10. And then, unfortunately, had to wait to use the bathroom. All right. Okay, so what I'm working on today, or at least I want to work on once I take the jacket off. Oh, sorry about that. So what I'm working on today is I want to get started with PlatyPS. It's a PowerShell module for doing help in for a module. And it allows you to write external help for your modules. Let me bring it up here. So this is the GitHub. Sorry. This is the GitHub repo for it, and I've done this once before, but it's been a while, and it's something I wanted to kind of make more of a priority, is to actually get document my modules I've written, because when you write modules, you want them to be useful, right? And then for them to be useful, it helps to have decent documentation for them, because just because you write something that makes sense to you doesn't mean it makes sense to someone else. That's something that I've learned by trying to use other people's modules. So essentially, with PlatyPS, oh yeah, it has the new markdown help commandlet. So I'm looking through the help right now. It's like I said, I have done this once before, but it's been a while. So let me see if I've even got it installed. I'll zoom this in a little bit. PlatyPS list available. I do version 12.0. What's the latest version, I wonder? Well, actually, we can. Let's find out. So I expect some of this demo is going to get a little boring. I'm going to try to stay out of all of the, or this isn't a demo, the stream, sorry. I expect some of it will get a little boring writing help, because that's never very exciting. So I'm going to try to stay out of the really in-depth, detailed help for a module, because that's going to be boring on a per module level. And so instead, I've got several modules that I need to write help for, so I'm going to kind of get the process of adding that into my build scripts, get that part down and useful. So that's what I want to focus on for this stream. So if you guys want to jump in, if you've used PlatyPS before and you see me doing something that doesn't make sense, let me know, because again, I haven't done this before. Or excuse me, I have a while back when I got first side, someone mentioned it from the PowerShell Summit last year. And so, finally, where we're 10 months later, getting started. Okay, so new markdown help, and then let's see, create external help from markdown help. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is import this module. So specifically what I'm looking at here is the PS Dropbox module that I started a month ago. So at TechSnips, we use Dropbox for some of the processes, and we needed a module for it. So I started one. And so let's build. So I'm using the PlatyPS commandlets here. So I'm importing the module, because I believe the module needs to be imported to create it. So new external help. Path and output path. Let's see what these docs, output path, NUS. Oh, new markdown help and then mod. Okay. Do markdown help. Hey, good morning you guys too. Yeah, and Veronica, just because I'm streaming on it doesn't mean that I've done this before. So maybe you can throw out some advice while I'm working on this. So I'm not gonna show anything like really awesome and amazing. At least I don't expect to. But yeah, you're right. That is the point of streaming. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a docs folder here in my PS Dropbox. Nice. Whoa. Okay, so after running that one new markdown help, so you can see for each of the commandlets that I've got, it created a folder. So we'll start with a simple one: get Dropbox file. So this oh, sweet. So it grabs the parameter sets. Wow. That saves a lot of typing. Let's see, description. Nice. Wow. Okay, this is pretty cool. Yeah, I can see why this is useful. So my get Dropbox file, for those of you guys watching, is this commandlet right here. Yeah, I find it awesome too after even just the one new markdown help commandlet, because having handwritten, the comment helps at the top of these modules. It's a pain. Okay, so this commandlet that I'm looking at the help for, just to give you a quick introduction, it's got two parameter sets by path, by ID. You can get a Dropbox file, and it actually downloads it. So you can give it the path of the file in Dropbox or the ID of the file, give it a destination, and it will download it to that destination. So invoke Dropbox API call. I am going to fill in just a little bit of information. Dropbox via the API. I'm gonna skip getting into the weeds here on the documentation itself, because that's not fun. It is going to be really boring in a stream to watch somebody write help. So what's some example code? You know what? I'm going to pull up my Dropbox account to do some example code. Let's see. Oh, I've got this on. Whoop. I've got this on my other screen, and when in reality, I mean, we're looking at pictures of I personally don't use Dropbox a lot, so there's just I got pictures of a router that I tried to sell on Craigslist. But I wanted to do is see if they don't. If they list out the item ID, they don't. But they give us the name of it, so I'm just going to fill in an example code. Get oh my goodness, Dropbox file. And was it path? Let's see, path. And that was in the test folders, image.jpg. And I'm writing up some example. I'm writing up some content in these docs so that I can see what it looks like on the other end. Because as someone who hasn't done destination. Hasn't done this before, it'll be interesting to see what this looks like. Okay, so we'll call that good. Example description here. Downloads file. Downloads image.jpg. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's see, a required false. So this is all the information that's added in, which is pretty sweet in my opinion. Let's see, ID. I'm not going to add in the descriptions for those. Okay, so once we've got all of the markdown stuff filled in, first I'm going to branch this, call it the dev branch. Okay. Wait, wait, hold on a second. Create a new branch. Oh, sorry. There we go. Okay. I'm going to branch this so I can do this without affecting any builds or existing stuff. Okay, so when we got all the markdown stuff filled in, and assuming I actually went through and did all that, which I will at some point, new external help. Okay, so n-us. Okay, so let's try this. New external help, docs, and then output is going to be, so I'm gonna output this into my build /en-us. Well, is it capitalized or does that matter? We'll make it all capitalized. All right. PS Dropbox help.xml. So oh yeah, how would you like to handwrite all this XML? Holy macro. Okay. Ooh. I would not enjoy that. Okay, so I'm gonna remove that module, the PS Dropbox module, and then re-import it. Let's see, PS Dropbox, and I believe now it automatically imports the XML help. I'm not. We'll find out. Let's see, get Dropbox file. Does that actually have anything I wrote in it? Nope. Name, syntax, alias. Whoops. Oh, I must have to specify that it has. Yeah. Okay. So it didn't actually pick that up. Okay. So I'm missing something. So let's see. Import. Edit markdown files. Populate. Create external help. Now if your module code changes, easily update your markdown. Okay, so I wonder if it needs to be referenced from the PSD file. Update existing reflection, create a module page, receive, create external help file again. See the results in GitHub. I haven't actually pushed the change to GitHub yet. But what I'm... So what I'm trying to figure out right now is... Oh. Okay, actually, I see what the problem is. So I put this NUS folder inside of the build folder when it really should be, I believe, inside of the Dropbox folder. Okay, so that was my mistake. So let's try that again. So I believe that if it's just in that folder, that it will actually PS Dropbox import PS Dropbox. Okay. So if that NUS folder is inside of the same folder as the module itself, that it will actually work. So let's find out. Help get Dropbox file. Ah, there we go. So now it's got the synopsis. So that's what I was looking for before. Okay, sweet. And description, fill in description. Yeah. So then if we actually look at the full version, we should see parameters, destination screen. Okay, yeah, it's looking for fill in information, but it should have an example 1. Nice. Okay, sweet. That's awesome. If you guys haven't used PlatyPS, there's the 10-minute, excuse me, the 10-minute introduction to how cool it is. Okay. So I am, oh, you know what? I don't even have I still have a Pisaki build here in PS Dropbox, and I moved over to doing InvokeBuild. Let me, give me a second. I'm opening up another one of my modules on the other screen. On the other screen. I just bring it over here. So with, where is it? So I started using InvokeBuild instead of, oh, I didn't do it on this one. Okay. Oh, there we go. PDF generator API is where I did it. So using InvokeBuild, I'm going to build the external help as well. But I didn't want to start from scratch, so I'm just going to copy this from another module I did and use that. So new file. I'm in ps dropbox.build.ps1. And then for anyone that's not familiar with InvokeBuild, it is a module that helps build modules. I think I call this version 1 for now. Yeah, or 0.0.0.1. And so I think that's the only variable I need to change. And this shouldn't be taken as like best practice InvokeBuild. This is just the InvokeBuild that works for me. Let's see. And so, so I've got, so this specifically has a module build task, which will pull all of the files out of my public and private folders, put them into a PSM1 file inside of my build directory. So that's over here on the left. And it should also have a clean, crap. See how prepared I am? I added a clean to, was it my eBay module? I added another task to this. Let's see, berry beta build. Yeah. So this clean will actually, I ran into errors on the last stream where I was actually building these builds, and it was causing some issues. So we remove the module in case it already exists, and then if the build path already exists, remove the build path. But actually, that should be module path, not build path. And so what InvokeBuild will do is run. Well, actually, this should be clean comma. So if I call InvokeBuild with the task name of module build, then it will run module build. And then before it runs module build, it will run the clean build. But what it should also do is, do we just call it doc build? Doc build? We'll call it doc build for now. Task doc build. And in here is where, so I've got all the docs in markdown. So that's where we're going to run the new external help. Oops. If this is going to let me highlight it, there we go. All about copy and paste. New external help. Oh, I shouldn't hard code /. So source path, build path, doc path, PS script root. And I'm using the PS script root variable here because ultimately, when this build task is called, it'll be through the Azure DevOps pipeline, and it will call build.ps1, which I'm going to update here in a second, and it will and so it'll run. So it'll be running out of, well, the PS script root will resolve to whatever folder it's in, which will be the root folder for this module when it gets imported from GitHub. So PS script root /docs. So I'm going to say, I call that doc path, and then output path is going to be build path / so it's going to be module path /nus, and yeah, we'll just go add it here, doc build. Yeah, that looks good. So when it calls the module build, I'm pointing at my screen like you guys can see it. When it calls the module build task, it will also run the dependency tasks, which are these clean and build, or clean and doc build. So in my build.ps1, so right now this is psaki. We're going to switch that around to be InvokeBuild, and I'm going to yank some code. Oop, not bad. Yank some code out of one of my other modules and use that here. I also have some private data. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's see. Okay, so task equals module build, dependent modules, PSDeploy. So PSDeploy is the module that will push it to the PowerShell gallery. InvokeBuild is the one it's used. And I have Pester here because I'm going to write some Pester tests at some point for it. So I just have it in comments to remind me every time I look at it and every time I explain it. So I can feel bad about not having written the Pester tests yet. Okay, ps dropbox.build.ps1 task. So task is a parameter. So that way I can set multiple pipelines, one to do module build. And so by default, it'll do module build. But it can also do the publish, which should also have module build. Or no, sorry, all is what I have. So I could do publish and then add module build as a dependency. And you know, maybe I'll do that at some point because that sounds like a good idea, actually. But for right now, task all will build it and publish it. So anyway, back to getting the docs to work. So new external help. Okay, so I'm going to save that and InvokeBuild. I think this will work. Better comments. Is that one that I already have, or is that one that? I mean, look, I've not heard of that extension. So if I've got it installed, it's only by better comments. Oh. That's a great way to do it. Here, let's do that. Sweet. Okay, so let's see. Important information is highlighted. Exclamation part is deprecated, not used. Should use to do. So what you're saying is, there we go. That's cool. I'll stick with orange for now, but that's hey, thanks for that tip. I like that. Why orange is a little confusing. Can we just go exclamation point red? Ooh, Pester, need Pester. I'll leave it as orange for now. I like that. Yeah, thanks, Veronica. Okay, so let's see, private data. I think I've got that in the build already. Oh, don't need InvokeBuild and invoke psaki. Okay, so if we do InvokeBuild, this should just work. Ooh, I think I need to specify a task. Task module build. This is why we have git, in case it breaks. Oh, and it broke. Okay. Accepts argument. What did I call InvokeBuild task module build? Okay, I must have got something syntactically wrong here. Oh, it's not jumping out at me. What is going on here? Okay, a pistol parameter cannot be found that accepts argument. Hub files equal. Does this need a comma? Maybe that needs a comma. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Okay, so it needs a comma before it gets to the actual script block. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, sweet. So that is a brand new file, so I'm not gonna worry about that. But there shouldn't be any. Whoop, let me actually look here. Oh, I got all those. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and commit these. Oh no, not. I'm gonna go ahead and commit. I'm gonna go commit all of the markdown files, just to get them out of here. And this is I'm working on the dev branch. So let's see, initial md-doc commit. Okay, there we go. And my PSD one should be. Let's see, that's the PS get thing still. Okay, this should all be the same except for the date and project URI. What? Oh, that's right. I forgot. I moved this module over to the TechSnips organization. Let's see. There we go. What's the VS Code thing? This is I'm just using. I think it's default light or dark. Sorry. Yeah, or dark plus. Sorry, the default dark. That's one I like. It's all. I haven't done anything to it, so it's all the default. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so let me run that build again. Want to make sure we get that right. Okay, and now my PSD1. The only difference should be. Doing the caps right. Okay, that's boring change. Okay. So but now, so now we've got. Okay, so we got the docs working for this module. Let's see, PSM1. So this should have. Oh, this just reordered it. That's fine. Okay. So now I'm just gonna do converted build to InvokeBuild. Added PlatyPS docs. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to work with one of my modules that I do have published. Let's see, not this one. I'll work with my PDF gem because I believe I've got that one on the gallery and set up in. Let's see, and set up in Azure DevOps. Let me just bring this over here. Let me get that out of there. I've got some other accounts. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I've got. I'm just checking to see which. Okay, I do have the. Okay, PS PDF Gen. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to add docs to this and then see what happens when it gets published using PSDeploy. I want to make sure that the docs actually, there's nothing special that has to be done to the docs to make them actually get deployed with PSDeploy. And you know what? I could sit and read the docs on PSDeploy, or I could have a little more fun with it and actually try it out. So that's what I feel like doing. So we're going to try it out. And the first thing, so in my PS PDF Gen, I don't have the clean task added yet. So I'm just going to add that in. A lot of this I'm just copying and pasting. And for anyone watching, all the code that I'm working on and any of the code that I work on in any of my streams is all on my GitHub. So github.com/deeposhwolf. Or it might be under, some of it is actually under my organization, so github.com/howlit. But for the most part, they're probably going to be pinned repositories. So if you see code you're interested in finding somewhere and you can't find it, let me know. It's all out there. It's all available. Okay, so here in the PS PDF Gen, let's make a new external. No, new. I'm already gonna forget how PlatyPS works. Okay, there we go. Let me import the module first. Build/PS PDF Gen. Okay, new external help. Let's see, module. Whoa, no. New markdown help. Sorry, markdown help. Module PS PDF Gen. Path is going to be. Did I? New markdown help? Oh, output folder. That's what it is. Okay, and I've already got a docs path here that does nothing. Okay, we're just gonna delete that NUS folder. Cool. Docs, there we go. Sweet. And so I'm gonna leave these all as the default because I can't imagine that you guys want to sit and watch me write help. I wouldn't want to watch someone write help. So I'm just gonna here we're gonna actually switch this to the dev branch off of master. There we go. Okay, cool. So we're gonna say new external help. Let's see, path is /docs. Or whoa, no, hold on. I'm manually doing this when I should be doing this in my build. Okay, so let's do it here. Task doc build. This actually, I'm gonna cheat here. Or is this cheating? Is it possible to plagiarize yourself? I think it's only possible if you're in school. Okay. And the good news, oh, I need doc path 2. And I called doc path. Okay. All right, so that's where the docs are, and it's going to pull out of the module path NUS. Okay, so I should be able to just run InvokeBuild now and say task, or module build does not depend on doc build yet. Doc build. Okay, there we go. So task module build. Sweet. Okay. That was good. And you notice I still have the old name of my, I used to call this module PS, PDF Generator API, the mouthful. Okay. So let's check and make sure. So just the date that was updated. And it removed the description. Why did it do that? Or, sorry, I'm reading this backwards. It added the description. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's actually good. That's actually good. Okay. And it added all the markdown, all the help. Okay, initial help addition or initial help commit with PlatyPS. Okay, I'm going to commit that, and I'll do some pushes here. Let's see. So I'm going to push the. I'm pushing the PS. Here, I'll bring it over here. Pushing PS Dropbox. Or actually, you know what? I can push with. Yeah, I can just push using VS Code. I forgot about that. For anyone that didn't know about that, that was something that I just learned. So Posh Wolf. I might have that password. Otherwise, it's in LastPass. We'll find out. Would you like code to periodically run git fetch? Ask me later, because I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. So I forget running the GitHub client. GitHub. Here. Let's. I'm actually a little. Not the Posh Wolf text snips. I'm a little skeptical. Updated a minute ago. All right, cool. So, yeah, you can use VS Code to push changes to GitHub. Nice. Oh, you can see all of the documentation I've already written for this module. All right. So now that I've got those docs added, in the dev branch. Oh, shoot. That's right. I'm actually going to need to I'm going to need to do a pull request to get that on the master branch. I guess the next question is, I'm not sure that I've actually published the PS Dropbox. I have not. Or no, I'm working in PS PDF Gen. Okay. Okay. I'm all over the place today. Sorry. So we're going to go back to the Posh Wolf and PS PDF Gen. Where is it at? Oh, yeah, like I said, it might be under my organization, which is not. I'm always forgetting to just type the path in. Okay, here we go. So 2 minutes ago, so it did update. Nice. And this changes. Let's look at the dev branch. I only added in. I updated the build. Okay. So I'm just going to do a pull request on this. Changing the docs isn't going to change. Crap. Changing the docs isn't going to change the functionality of it. Not that I have tests to prove that yet. Yeah, my test folder is empty. Again, gonna need to work on Pester. But I do need to increment the module version or PDFs gen. We're gonna increment this to 0.0 or 0.0.2, and I'll do a 0.1 when I get all the Pester tests and whatnot done. So I'm gonna do another build here. Okay. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't even need to run the builds locally, right? Because it'll just do that when it gets deployed. Yep. Nod your head, yes, because that is actually true. I always forget about that though. Okay, incremented version to publish. All right. And I'm not going to, or let's push that. We'll push and pull, okay. All right, and while it's doing that, let's go to dev.azure.com and get signed in. And, oh, Azure DevOps, that's what I wanted. All right, and what I wanted to do is to publish it and see what happens with the docs once we get it set up. So I don't think I have continuous integration set up on this one. We'll find out, actually. All right, so I'm gonna do a pull request here on master, or on dev, sorry. Adding in docs to build process. Still need to fill in documentation for, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, so create pull request. And it should, merge pull request, sweet. Okay, merge number 1, PoshWolf, add again, yep, okay. So now that I've got that pulled and merged and closed, I don't think it'll kick off an automatic build, or it shouldn't because I haven't set that up yet. So let's queue this up, agent pool commit. It should grab the most recent one. So let's queue this up. Manual build. Okay. And this part gets pretty boring, so I'm going to actually, we're going to open up another module while that's running and see if we can get this process down pat. So this is my PayPal module. I needed to do a little work in PayPal, so I built a module for it. Doesn't do everything in PayPal, but it does the stuff I need. If you guys want to see some more functionality in this, all the development that I'm doing, like adding in builds and such, this is to support other people contributing to my modules. So you're absolutely welcome to fork it, submit a PR, whatever you want to do. It includes, you can write the help for it if you want, because that is something that I obviously want to do, because I'm writing up the help files now. Okay, so I'm gonna import this module, build / I called it PoshPal, and then we're gonna say new markdown help module PoshPal. Output directory is gonna be /docs, which oh crap, I call it doc. I already have a docs folder. Okay. So funny story, when I scaffolded a lot of these models, I just copied it. Copied out of a module that I thought was already decent in the way it was structured. And so that's where I already have a docs folder, even though I don't have any docs in it. Okay, so then in my build, let's see, so from the PDF gen, going to add in the doc build task, and I actually switched this one over to the module path instead of the build path. So that way it's not removing. So build path is this PS script /build. I don't want it to remove that entire path. I just want it to remove the singular module path, which is why I switched that to module path. So clean doc build. So add those in, and then the doc path is PS script root /docs. Okay. So that should work there. So let's check and see. PowerShell exit with 1. Let's see. Okay. So I did not. This is what my PSDeploy. Yeah. So for my build on the PSDeploy, here, I'll zoom this in so you can see it. So I got this error here. The new external help is not recognized. In my build.ps1, so I can just show you. So in this pipeline, let's look at it here. Let's see. It tells you how familiar I am with Azure DevOps. Edit, there it is. So I have one task that runs, and it runs my build.ps1 script in this module repo. So that correlates to build.ps1 here. So I'm looking at the PSDeploy module, and I've got my dependent modules, and you notice I don't have PlatyPS here. So that's actually what did happen. That's not an if, ands, or buts. That is what happened. Okay. This has a dependent module. Crap. I'm just gonna go back to master. Okay. And no, it's not good to develop against the master branch. Oh yeah. Okay. Don't show again. But for the sake of getting this done. Oh, nice. My badge is failing now. Okay, we're going to fix that, though. Okay, so latest commit 5 minutes ago. We could do better than that. 17 seconds ago. Okay, so let's try this again. So build up PS1. Okay, so let's go ahead and queue this up. Queue, all right. Okay, so number 21 has been queued. And again, I'm not going to sit and watch this because it's fairly boring until it gives you that output like before. So we'll switch back over to my PowerShell build. So test clean doc build. Okay. Oh, I just got a notification that my stream is not holding very stable. Looks like it's doing okay as far as I can tell. Nope, back up to excellent. Okay. We'll call that a transient network problem. Okay, so I'm in my PowerShell. I've got the basic one. So I'm gonna switch this one. I'm gonna switch this one over to dev because what I want to do is finish my testing up on that PSDeploy module. We'll go and publish that, and then take what I learned from that and apply it to the rest of my modules. Okay, so that's still, so I'm looking at the Azure DevOps again. Looks like that's still running. Let's see. Sure, actually we'll have it run get fetch occasionally. Okay. So this one specifically, I just need to add in, everything, and then do InvokeBuild for the task module build. Well, I don't actually technically need to, but we're going to anyway because I want to build locally so I can do some testing. Okay, so that InvokeBuild now added in that NUS folder, which is the XML formatted help. Nice. Okay, I got my docs all there. Build description. Okay, let's check on that build again. It's still running. But I'm not actually sure what that's. So it did clean to doc build. Oh, so it must be doing the deploy task right now. Well, let's switch actually over to the PDF Gen 1. So this has the last task is publish. So it invokes PSDeploy on the script group, and that looks for this file, this module.psdeploy.ps1, and then it sends that. In this environmental variable, I've got that defined in the Azure DevOps pipeline. There we go. Post job checkout succeeded. Okay, so what we should see, since we got a success on this one, I got my email saying that I published an update. So now why is it, okay, that's why it says 0.0.1 there, but version down here is 0.0.2. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so what we should be able to now do is install module PSDeploy, and it should install the 0.0.2 version with that help. Fingers crossed. And if it didn't, then I'll have to. So if it doesn't add the help like I expect it to, then I'll have to do some more research on how the PSDeploy works. And actually, you know what? While that's uninstalling from source, yeah, I don't know if that includes the help or not. So that's what I'm testing here. So we're going to install the new 0.0.2 version that has help. Hopefully, sometime. There we go. So let's see, we'll import module. Git module PSDeploy 0.0.2. Okay, so that's good. So now if we go help, get PDF Gen templates, and there shouldn't be anything in here, but yes, the PlatyPS stuff is in there. You can see under synopsis, it says fill in synopsis, under description, fill in description. So that's sweet. So moral of this brief tangent here is that if you're using InvokeBuild and PSDeploy, and probably psaki too, I mean, it's just a matter of adding in the new external help. But if you're using PSDeploy, it does deploy PlatyPS help as well. So that's awesome. Okay, so note to self, I need to update that so it does have docs, since that's now published with these incomplete docs. But the testing worked, which was good. So now I want to make sure we add this to my other modules as well. Okay, so we got PowerShell build. Okay, so we got the build. Okay, so this one's good to go. Just want to make sure. Let's see. Still pushing version 0.0.3. That's okay. And build. Switch the clean. Added the docs. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so initial docs edition. I'm going to push that to dev. And give that a second. And do I have another module? Yes, I think so. So I've got there it is, PS Sherpa Desk. So this is another module I've been working on. It's for a help desk platform that I use. And interestingly enough, I didn't move this over to InvokeBuild. So and did I add this in Azure DevOps? We might be looking at adding another module to Azure DevOps for anyone that's interested. Let's see. Let's look at my projects here. Oh, I do have it in here. Okay, it must still be using psaki. Okay, and I'm not going to sit here and preach on psaki versus InvokeBuild. I just learned InvokeBuild recently and started using it, so that's why I use it. And you know, the interesting thing is with Azure DevOps, these are supposedly public projects. Let's see what happens if we try to look at them without signing in. No, we can't see them. Because supposedly with Azure DevOps, open source projects have access to. So I use it with GitHub. So yeah, that's a great point. Let's take a look. So here's one of my. So it's the PS Sherpa desk. If we go to repos, I believe I've got it. I've got it set up so the pipeline pulls. Let's look at the pipeline. It's set up so the pipeline pulls from GitHub. Yeah, here we go. So Git sources is looking at a GitHub repo, and that's how I have them all set up. Just because I was on GitHub before I was on Azure DevOps, and I don't know, I like GitHub. I feel like it's kind of the go-to place for code, and so that's where I keep everything, and it integrates really nicely, in my opinion. But what I want to do on this module is I'm going to go ahead and add the help, switch the build to InvokeBuild, and get a new version published, because that is what I feel like working on right now. Unless someone's got suggestions for how we can improve the PlatyPS stuff I'm doing, besides writing the docs, unless everyone wants to watch me write help documentation. I'm happy to do that, because that needs to be done, and I'm really motivated to do stuff when people are watching. Let's see, build settings. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna straight copy this build script over. So for InvokeBuild, if there's any .build.ps1 files in the root of where InvokeBuild is run, that's what it will run. So I'm gonna get this switched over. Which one am I on? PS Sherpa desk. Except this one I have in my Howl IT organization, which is my business name. Let's see, module name, PS Sherpa desk. Author Anthony Howell. Okay, so we got docs. Okay, so for the most part, this is pretty generic, besides the variables at the top. Okay, let's see, functions. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so that's actually pretty straightforward. So then we got to import the module to make the markdown help build / PS Sherpa desk. Let's see, and it's new markdown help module PS Sherpa desk output folder /docs. And you notice I do on this one, I do also have a docs folder. So I honestly don't remember, but I'm going to guess and say that when I did all of these modules one by one, I just copied and pasted for my other modules. Okay, sweet. I am going to, excuse me, since I do already have this one published, I am going to switch this over to the dev branch from master. Just because I want to start getting in that habit of developing against dev until I've got a working, a publishable version of the module. Especially when I've got a module that other people use, and I'm going to sit here and say that maybe other people use this module and I don't actually know. With the ultimate goal of setting up these modules so other people can use them, I'm going to, okay, 15 people, nice. I want to kind of do my best to follow best practices, and so I am going to build against dev right now. Let's see, PS Sherpa desk. Okay, so build PS1, so task equals module build. Let's see, we'll leave that there. Actually, let's see. I end up doing, as you can see, I end up doing a lot of copy and paste. If you do it once, why rewrite the wheel? Or Not that my code is the wheel, but why rewrite something that already works, right? Which is, again, why all this code that you see, it's all on GitHub. It's all available. If you want to copy and paste from mine, that's fine. It's all, everything that I do, I've got under the MIT license. So you're willing to do what you want as long as it's falls under that license. Okay. And that wasn't legal advice, just to be clear. Okay, so dependent modules, PSDeploy, InvokeBuild. Nice, looks good. Okay, I do have that InvokeBuild, not InvokePSocket. Nice. Okay, so let's actually run an InvokeBuild. Let's see, task module build, just to make sure it's actually going to work. Doc build looks good. Module build looks good. Let's see, under build, PS Sherpa and you ask. I can't imagine trying to write one of these XML files. Like, even looking at this, it's completely understandable why somebody wrote that PlatyPS module. Okay, so I've got all that done. So we're going to say initial, let's see, PlatyPS commit. And again, I'll have to go back and update all those docs. So initial PlatyPS and convert to InvokeBuild commit. Nice. Okay. Push that up to dev. And what other published modules do I have that need to be documented? Let's find out. So in the PowerShell gallery. My eBay module. So much like my PayPal module, cool to see the private public file set up. Oh. Yeah. I can actually speak to that just really quick. And this isn't, I don't know if this is best practice or not. So I do it this way because this way works for me. But I have, if my module has classes, and if you're more familiar with C++ and C#, you're probably more familiar with classes than I am. But this one doesn't. I don't know why I have the classes folder, but I would put them in the classes folder. I can actually show you a module that does here in a minute. And so all the private functions, so those are the functions that you don't want the person to see. And so in the build process, so under my build, I have a task. So this is using InvokeBuild. So my module build task, it gets all the public files, so out of my source path / public folder, and then it gets all of my private files out of the private folder. And then in the module manifest, so that's this hash table right here, functions to export is the public files.base name. And so let me show you what this actually looks like. Let me load these up here, because I can sit here and explain things all day long, and it doesn't make sense until they actually see them and run. Oh crap. PS script root. Let's just do this. Public files equals. I will momentarily edit this. Oop. Okay, so if we look at these, so public files, that's just a list of all the files out of there. Actually, I'm going to do Control-Z to get those back to where they should be. Okay. And if I look at pubfiles.base name, so this is just all the base names of those files. And I just realized. So typically, if all of your functions are in the public folder, if they are all the same name as the function name, then this will work. But I started calling the files get and then Sherpa and then whatever it is. But then I named a function get SD. Gosh darn it, now I'm kicking myself for that. Okay, so normally this would be a list of all of your functions, but all my functions are actually, instead of get Sherpa account, it's get SD account. But that will, so if I do a get, do I have, let's import the module. So import module /build PS Sherpa desk. So if I do a git command against, here, let me make this a little bigger. So if you do a git command against the module, whoop. Okay, hold on a second. Just froze up. Or what is it doing? Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so if I do a git command against the module PS Sherpa desk, that's only going to list out my public files, which out of that build sequence are all the functions to export. So, and that runs against the update module manifest commandlet. So it updates my PSD1 file, which will end up looking like so. So in the PSD1 file, that's what I'm looking at here. We scroll down, and inside of the functions to export, this is what gets updated in there. And right now that's wrong because all of my commandlets are SD, not Sherpa desk. So, but that's just something that I gotta fix. And I'm saying I gotta fix it, and I'm just gonna do it right now. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna rename the folders. This is the dev branch, so we can do that. Okay, so and instead of renaming them manually, I'm just gonna use a little bit of PowerShell here. Actually, I just use pipeline. So I'm gonna go to git child item on /source/public private public for each. Is there a rename item? I think there is. There is. Actually, instead of just straight renaming them, for each .name. So I'm gonna do a regex replace Sherpa desk. SD. I just want to make sure that's. Oh my goodness. I want to make sure that that's actually going to make sense here. Oh, sorry. Good point. I forget about that. All right, so is that a little better? Yeah. So I got a little thumbnail over here on the right, so I can see what I actually look like. Okay, for each name replace somebody. I'm replacing Sherpa desk with SD because all my functions are instead of using Sherpa desk like it is right here, that's just SD because who wants to type the same thing over and over and over? Okay. Okay, so that looks good. Okay. So we're gonna do rename item. And then new name. Yeah, no problem. I know how valuable it is to have someone actually explain code rather than just trying to look at it. Okay, so, and you also made me fix this, which I've been meaning to do for a while, but I haven't. Okay, I think rename item has a what if. Okay, it does. Okay, cannot read item because, oh. Okay, so performing on new item. Okay, cool. So that actually does work. Okay, so let's actually, I'm gonna watch this. There we go. Okay, so now the build should work the way that I intended it to do. We got all these renames. Okay, so renamed files from okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and commit that rename right now and then do another build, and that InvokeBuild should actually do all the public files correctly. Oh, whoops, I just did the clean task module build, since that's what I called it. Okay, so doc build. Okay, so now let me remove the module. So now this PSD1 file should, so functions to export. Excuse me. So these are the public functions that someone trying to use this module should see, and that's right, I believe. We'll find out. So if we do an import module on build on that directory and then do git command, we should now see all the right commands. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because there are, let me give you an example. There are some, oh, that's a good point on the, let's find out. Docs. Okay. Whew. So that was that's a good point. Yeah, so the new markdown help out of the PlatyPS module looks like it uses the commands in the module itself. And my old, so I just switched the build on this module to InvokeBuild. So previously in my Pisaki build, it was accounting for the correct names. And so that's where it did have the correct names previously, but my new build did not. So doing the public private, yeah, never want to miss an export function. And a good example of some command. So in this module specifically, since it's based on a REST API, yeah, I did get lucky there. Saved me a lot of work. Since this is based against a REST API, I have my commandlet that does all the API calls. I have that marked as a private function, just because I would rather have dedicated modules instead of having somebody call the invoke API call module. And then same thing with getting the save path. So this save path, it saves the credentials. Let me show you. Oh, I've got this over on this other screen. So it saves the this module's credentials in the user directory. So C users Anthony, and then the PS Sherpa desk, and it's got a credentials.json file it outputs, and this is just the secure string. So you can see this, and I don't have to worry about you knowing what my my API keys are. So that's what this get Sherpa desk save path does. Crap. Oh no, and it doesn't matter what the name is, but at the same time, I'm gonna standardize this and call this the same thing that the function name is, even though it is a private. I saw it at the same time you did. But invoke Sherpa desk API call, in this case, I'm gonna leave it as the full name, and that's just because I've left the function as a full name. This is a private function, and nobody's gonna be calling it unless they clone my repo and they move it to a public. And of course, if you guys wanted to, you're welcome to do that. That's why the code's all public. So let's check and see. Okay, yeah, fix the. Or nope, I'm gonna do the two separate commits here. Rename the private functions as well. Yeah, definitely delayed. I've got it set to low latency, but there's still a delay. Okay, so rename the private function. Yes. Okay. With the rename function file rename, fix the build process. Okay. So there we go. So that's been something I've been meaning to do for a while. But it worked, so I didn't feel like moving it. Yeah. Yeah. And you're hitting on the exact reason that I enjoy streaming, is because I don't catch everything, and a lot of times someone may be watching that has done this before. So with that being said, if you stream, make sure you get added to the Power. Well, I don't know if you stream PowerShell or not, but if you do, make sure and get added to the PowerShell Live stuff, because that was pretty sweet that got set up. Okay. And what was I working on this long term? I got sidetracked renaming those function files, but that was something that needed to be done. I can probably I don't want to publish this one till I've got the docs actually updated. So this one does have tests though, so I will add to my build. You should stream. It's a lot of fun, I'm telling you. So in this case, this build.ps1, I'm going to add the Pester module in. And my build needs to actually have a test. So so actually this is a good one to spend a little bit of time on. So does the test happen before or after the module build? It happens after. Okay, so task, test, and this depends on module build. I'm drawing a blank. I know it's invoke Pester, right? So in the module build, it does import the module. And so it needs to import it to test it. So invoke Pester. I'm blanking on the syntax for invoke Pester. I think it's just invoke Pester. And it looks at the tests folder. Executing all tests in star. Okay, there's nothing in there. Okay, so it must be invoke Pester. Here, let me get that over there so the commands are over on the left a little bit further. Invoke Pester. I think it's just /tests. Okay, sweet. Oh, unauthorized, yeah, because it's so this is another roadblock for adding in tests to this module, is that I've got to find a way to pass all the API keys, which I would just do through an environmental variable. That's a great question with the separate functions isolated. So the way the testing works, and keep in mind that I'm not an expert on Pester, which is the PowerShell testing framework module, whatever you want to call it. So I've got all the tests here, and these aren't in-depth tests. These are pretty basic. You need to build before tests. So that's a good point. So yeah, actually, it's a good point about testing private functions. It's not something I know it's something that's going to be a problem when it needs to happen. But so with this specific module build, since it's based on a REST API, there's going to be, and I'll open up the source here. For each of the different resources, there's going to be potentially a new, a get, and a set. So for instance, we'll look at tickets, since I have all those for my tickets. So this is a help desk platform, just to give you some background. There's a new SD ticket that I've written, a get SD ticket, as well as a set SD ticket. And there's not a remove SD ticket because in this context, you're just closing the ticket, and that's how the ticket comes to an end. And so for the tests, I have the tickets tests. And so with Pester, I've got just a tickets block, and then inside of this, I have different contexts for the different commandlets or the different functions. So for instance, for new, it tries to create a new ticket, and it actually does that outside of that block so that that new ticket is available to the get SD ticket, so that it can actually try to get it, and it tests that. And then it does, it tries to return all tickets, and it tries to return specific tickets. That's what those two different tests are. Excuse me. And then it tries to set on that ticket. And so yeah, I am testing each of the functions separately, but even though I've added it in, let's see, module tests, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to test a private function. Oh, no, I take that back. I'll have to look back at the stream, but someone was helping me out that has done Pester before. It might even have been you. Third and goal. I honestly don't remember. But this is in module scope. That allows me to test private functions. Yes, yeah. Import the mod. So here, let me show you. So in the build, so in my PS Sherpa Desk build here, so I've got this task module build. It builds the module, which you saw earlier, and then here line 43, it actually imports it. And then for the tests, I would expect, let's do, or actually, I'm gonna add another tests path up to the top. So for the test, you'd invoke Pester test path. So where it gets tested is I can test it locally. I mean, as you can see down below, I've got some red text because I haven't passed the credentials to the test yet. I haven't figured out how to do that. It's going to take some testing. I might be able to do that today. But then in I'm not sure if you were here earlier catching the Azure DevOps stuff, but in using the build pipeline in Azure DevOps, it will actually run. So here I'm actually staring at the pipeline for PS Sherpa Desk here. So I've created the pipeline. It gets all my code out of my PS Sherpa Desk repo, and then I've got it's an agent job. So it essentially runs whatever task you pass it, and in this case I'm passing it a PowerShell task, and then here on the right I've specified it's going to call the build.ps1. So anything you see, so we'll switch back over here to the actual module. Anything you see in this build.ps1 file, this is what's going to run during that pipeline. For instance, by default it's going to call the module build task, and then here down below at line 14 it's calling InvokeBuild, which is the build module that I'm using. And but before it does that, I've got my list of dependent modules. So PSDeploy was the module that deploys to the PowerShell gallery. I guess it could probably deploy other places, but I'm using it to deploy PowerShell gallery. InvokeBuild to build the module, PlatyPS for doc, and Pester for testing. And then it makes sure those modules are in, so lines 7 to 12. And then it'll actually call that build. And that all happens in Azure DevOps. So specifically to your question about, let's see, testing, it's a live test server. Yeah, so that would be a test server, I guess. Let's see. Let's see, but using local build, I try to do tests to private functions before using it inside the module. I'm not sure what you mean by module scope. I'm not sure I understand. And module scope is not very handy. I'm inclined to believe that it is based on my one time using it. Not that I have a lot of experience. Because I'm guessing that if you order the tests properly, you can test all the private functions in Pester before testing the other functions. But then the next question that I would have is, how do you order tests in Pester? Oh, by naming them so that they come out in order. At least that'd be my guess, based on, because it's starting with accounts and then auth config. So yeah. But I would guess that what I could do is auth config actually make a lot of sense to, in this auth config, to actually call that first. But in this specific module, since it needs API credentials, I'd have to figure out a way to pass it API credentials. So actually you should inside of Pester be able to access environmental variables, and I know in Azure DevOps you can specify environmental variables, and I think, oh crap, there's the beginning of my I think my face was covering it actually. But that was the beginning of my in my environmental variables. I specify my my API key for the PowerShell gallery. I just accidentally showed you guys. but I think my head might have been covering it, and it was only the first part of it anyway. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Moral of the story: testing parts in isolation is absolutely tricky. And I can't say that I'm an expert on it by any means. The tests that you see here are all of the Pester tests that I've written, besides some lab ones once upon a time. So, but I'm saying all this stuff as if we can't sit here and test it. So let's try something. So I want to see, so with the, let's see. So with my SherpaDesk module, it depends on getting the API key using the getSD API key. And it needs a credential to do that. But what I need to do is I need to set it up a way so I can pass API credentials to that module. Well, excuse me, just got a text message. Oh, it is about lunchtime. My wife's asking me if I want to have lunch with her. Give me a second here. So I need to find a way to be able to have a get or a save SDauth config and then pass it parameters like the API key. So no, I got half an hour before I'm done. That's why I actually just texted my wife. I mean, unless she comes back and says she needs to go now, I'll be here for another half an hour or so. So what I'm thinking here is so to get credentials to this module inside of a testing environment in Azure DevOps, I will need to set environmental variables in the pipeline and then have a way to accept them in the module. So yes, yeah, okay. So I'm thinking. So there's three. So if you guys aren't familiar with the SherpaDesk module, which I'm assuming that you aren't, because I was the one that wrote it, not you guys. It takes three parameters for authentication: an API key, an organization, and an instance. And so that's what this getSD metadata does. This will actually return all that information. But I want to be able to pass all of that, so I should be able to say in a parameter. I think I've actually got those specified in some of these. Yes, actually, that's well. Let me show you what I was thinking. So this save SDauth config, this function specifically will take. Well, let me back up. So when I use the getSD API key and then the getSD metadata functions, that will return all the auth config I need from the API. And then it saves them to a module scoped variable called authconfig. So that's what you see, this variable right here. And so if I do a save SD authconfig, and then I pass it the organization instance and API key, and if I do that, and then in my build, so in the build script, I would then need to specify the save SDauth config with these three parameters as environmental variables. Yes, okay, so this should work. But okay. So I'm gonna add in a parameter set so I can define two separate parameter sets. One where all three of these have value, and the second where none of them have value. Yes, yeah. Module saves it as long as the module is, yes, absolutely. And those variables are only available to the module. So if I have a module scoped variable in the module, I can't directly access it. well, I actually just learned this about these module scope variables. So let me show you. So in get SD API key, this is where it gets declared. So you got this script colon auth config equals, and this script colon, that is where you declare it as a script scoped variable. And since that is inside of a .psm1 file, which is a module file, it becomes a module scoped variable. And so that's where that module scoped comes from. So technically it's script scope, but for the intents and purposes of a module, it's module scoped. So I wouldn't be able to directly access that. So here, let me demonstrate. So if I do import module build ps strip desk, and then if I do a get SD API key, oh crap, I might be blocking this again. And so if I actually return the SD, so I'm running this command that we're looking at right now. I got to give it my email, and then it asks for my password. And so now it has populated that auth config variable because it just ran through this. But if I type in auth config, nothing comes back. But that variable is still available too. So for instance, if I look at my get SD account commandlet, you can see that here for my default parameters, organization, instance, and API key, they're referencing that auth config variable. They can access them because they're inside of the script, so they're in scope. And so that's how that works, and that's how you can manage. It's one way for managing authentication information inside of a module like this that needs an API key. I'm not saying it's the best way or the only way, but it's the way that I like and seems to work for me. Okay, so in my save SD auth config, let's see, default parameter set name of, let's call it auth config, and then give each of these parameters, let's see, parameter set name of past. Okay, I'm gonna call it from auth config to be a little more explicit. Okay. So pass, so, okay, so now we got, those are all passed. So I'm still gonna get the SD save path. So that function returns the path where the auth config is gonna be saved, and creates it if it doesn't, and it creates the credentials.json if it doesn't. Okay, so then it needs to create the auth config. So we need to say script auth config, or nope, we need to actually say if ps commandlet dot parameter set name equals past, and then we're going to set script auth config equals, we probably should have a validate not null or empty as well, or empty. That way that we know that these actually have value, and that's only if it's in that specific specific parameter set. So let's see. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna copy this right out of there and use that here. Okay, so API key equals, I just called it API key organization instance. Okay, so I'm just gonna call it API key organization and instance. Okay, so that means that if we save that, then it's still going to output it. Okay, perfect. That was actually a little easier than I expected. So we are going to switch these tests around. So if that saves it, it will put it in that credentials.json file and set the script scoped auth config variable, which is what we need. And so in the tests, we need the auth config test to run first. So I'm just going to underscore that. So auth config, let's see, context save. So get if save should not error. So actually first, I'm going to add another context in here. Get. Let's see. And I'm doing this because I want to test to make sure that credential file exists before saving it. And then I'm going to remove it and then save it again, if that makes sense. It'll make sense as I write this out. Okay, so let's see. So get SD auth config. I believe this will actually load it. If not, sound is present. Yeah, it'll actually load it from disk if it's not there. Okay, so if we say, so it get SD auth config should return data. And I'm not, I haven't written these tests to test specific types of data yet. So get SD auth config should. So these are really simple tests. These aren't should not be null or empty. Yeah. So these aren't. So in reality, what I should be doing is testing to make sure that it's actually a hash table with those 3 values in it. At some point, I will go back and do that. But for now, this is going to be good enough. I need some water, apparently. Okay, so get SD auth config. So once it's gotten SD auth config, since in the build, I'm wondering if I should do it in the. Yeah, I'll only do this in the test. I'll do save SD auth config. And just API, I would just call them API key instance and organization. API key instance organization. And then what I'll do is in the build, I'll go let's see, SD API key. And then same thing here. SD instance, and then same thing here. SD organization. Okay, so theoretically this should work. We'll find out. Okay, so I'm on the dev branch. I think I can still do a build off the dev branch. I'll have to switch it in the, well, we'll do tests while that's going. Okay, so save, and then the test. Get SD auth config should not be null or empty. Yes. Let's find out if this is gonna work. Let's see. Adding. Let's see. Updating. What's a good description over for this? Updating module. Support testing. Auth config. In pipeline. I think it describes everything. Added the tests. Yeah. Added the Pester. Updated. Yeah. Updated that. Renamed that. Okay. Cool. Okay. So I'll go ahead and push that. And I'm going to switch this GitHub. We're going to go to the dev branch. And it's in the build. So we're going to go task module build. So I'm only going to test the module build task here. Give me a second. And I'm doing that because I don't want to publish something from dev while I'm building it. Okay, so why am I back here? Oh, I do need, so task module build. So in my build.ps1, I should have a task module build and then invoke build task. Okay. So the last thing that I need is the, oh yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's why I switched it to dev. I don't have continuous integration set up right now, so it's not going to trigger off changes yet, any changes. It's on my list. So I was going to switch over to dev and then go from there. So, and if you're curious, to get SDAuth config, that variable actually returns all this data. And I'm showing you just because I'm going to rotate this API key anyway, because then what we can do is under environmental variables, we can add SD API key and call it, and then add SD organization. Wait, I did instance next. Instance, and then I can rotate all this stuff. So yeah, you see it right now, but it won't be there for much longer. SD organization and organization. Okay, so let's see. There we go. So I added those environmental variables. So now, let's see, we're looking at dev. Did I pushed it? Okay, good. Let's go to IT/PS Sherpa desk. Let's see, dev got 3 minutes ago. Okay, looks good. So let's do a build here, or a save and queue. Save and queue. I did switch that. Yeah, switch that to module build. So it's not. This isn't actually going to publish. It's just gonna test the tests. And then while that's running, I gotta send a quick text to my wife. And my mom's in town too. Oh, that's a good point. I could. Sorry, I'm looking back at your comment, and not publish unless you're on master. Yeah. I haven't dug into a lot of this automated build stuff. This is all fairly new to me. But I imagine that I could set it to trigger different tasks on different branches, and then. Sorry, my mind is rolling with that. And then these badges, I could set one to be for dev and one to be for master. Because I've seen that before. I've never thought about how that was done. Badges are cool though, which is why I have this one on here. And this part's a really boring part, and this is why earlier I had other stuff to do while I was waiting for this, because this can take a few minutes, especially if it's running through the tests. Oh, but you know what would be terrible is if I didn't actually add the tests in. Oh, dang it. I didn't. Oh. Okay, so we're going to cancel this if I can, if it's not too late. So what I need to do... Okay, that's fine. So what I need to do is for the task, I need to set the task to test instead of module build, because the module build doesn't actually. Here, did I make any change? No, I didn't. Okay. So the task depends on the module build, and the module build depends on clean and doc build. So it'll build all of this beforehand. But if it just does the module build, it doesn't run the tests, and I'm specifically doing this to test the tests in Azure DevOps. Okay, so let's see what this is doing. Okay. Oh, and you know what I probably could also test with Pester is test to make sure that the docs are there. That would be specifically this XML file. Yeah, that's something else I should test. Just thinking out loud here. publishes preview versions from the other branches in the public. Oh. Okay, so that. So you. I like that. So I've seen other modules where they had a dot preview, and never thought about how that was done. Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. So then so that would solve. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's. I'm not sure how I would do that in the build.ps1, but I could. Well, while this is running, and this is keep in mind that I haven't done a lot of complicated builds. In fact, this is the most complicated build that I've done. So I wonder. I would just build another. Oh, yep. I would just put another build pipeline in here, and have it trigger off of dev. Yeah, then build dev. Yeah, and then for the dev one, that's where I would have the task down here for test, and then for my master, it would be published, because the publish depends on everything. Or does it? I think my publish does not run tests right now, even though it should. Publish, yeah, it does not. So this should depend on test, which would depend on her. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's see how this is running, or it. Oh nope, that's the. Let's see, builds. Okay, so it failed. Why did it fail? Let's see. Missing script. Oh. Oh, sweet. I'll have to take a look at that. Looks like I forgot to. Am I in the right PS Server Desk? So it's InvokeBuild missing. Oh, no, that's dumb. So this is what I get for copying and pasting. Okay. No, that was a lame error. Okay, so after we've got that fixed, we're gonna try redeploying that. And less than a minute ago. Okay, nice, looks good. Cue this up again. Oh, and I'll grab that link here when I get a drink. Oh. Predefined build variables. Wow, okay. That's awesome. So I could essentially, if I name my builds right, use it by build name. Repository, yeah. Wow. I'll use it for a build source branch. Oh, yeah, right here. Here, zoom that in a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, especially for those of us that didn't know about it. Yeah, thank you for that. Let's see. So I wonder how that would look in PowerShell. How to access those predefined variables. I wonder if they're environmental variables or what. let's see. Oh, working with variables. I wonder if they've actually got, let's see, set variables in the pipeline. Oh, this is using YAML. Oh, I could use YAML. Yeah, I could do that. Let's see. Oh, yep, there he is. Environmental. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's my stream to learn. Ah, dang it. Build fail. Cannot convert of value. Cannot convert the value. Huh. Did I not? Maybe I didn't like the format of that. Let's see that. Save SDauth config. String, string, string. Those are all strings. In my build, did I call the wrong? Save SDauth config. On API, cannot convert the value. Oh, I guess I can scroll over to the right. Value of type system string to type. Oh, I must have. Oh, I really screwed up then. Save SDauth config. Validate not null or empty. Oh. Stupid little typos. Dang it. Okay. Sorry about that. I validate not null or empty wrong. I forgot parentheses. And I spelled parentheses wrong. Oh well. I really want this to work. Now I'm getting hungry. Okay. And I'm going to queue this up again. Queue. Okay. Thank you for card. That's awesome. Yes. Uh-oh. Oh. Yeah, for anybody yeah, exactly. That's that's exactly right. Run tests locally before committing. Sometimes I just want it to work, so I just skip some of those steps. And this is a great example of why you should test locally. Give me a second. Hey, Tone. Okay. Yep. Yep, sure. Text me when you get here and I'll finish up my stream. Okay. All right. Well, I love you. And I'll see you in a minute. All right. Bye. Okay. We're going to let this one finish up and then I got to roll. Work it if it's working or not. Yeah, apparently when my wife asked if I wanted to do lunch, she was actually getting in the car to head this way, so she's already here and walking up. Oh. Whoa, okay, we're getting a lot of errors there. I don't know if you guys saw that. It got to the tests, which is further than it's got before. Yeah, I'm glad you were here. You shared a lot of information about Azure DevOps that I didn't know before. Okay, so yeah, this is going to take some time for me to troubleshoot. Getting Pester to work in Azure DevOps. Ugh. But none of my tests work. And whoa, let's do something cool. I will test the tests locally. Oh yeah, don't let me forget to rotate my API key. I will test the test the tests locally. What? Uh-oh. I just got a notification. Oh, I got a notification that something got published, but it was just build okay with failing tests. So yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So it got through, it ran the tests, which is what I really wanted to do. And yeah, tests all work locally. But just because they work locally doesn't mean any good for my build. Okay, cool. Well, hey, thanks guys. Appreciate everyone that tuned in. I'll have this up on YouTube if you want to catch parts of it that you missed. I'll be streaming next week too. I usually stream on Thursdays. But this Friday there was just snow and ice out, and so I couldn't make it to my office in the morning. So that's all. Yeah. I will catch you later.